This is a man who makes those kind of decisions day after day. John McCain.
Thank you, Bud. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for that kind welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank all of you for taking the time from your busy schedule to be here. On behalf of the men and women who are serving our nation with courage and bravery and dedication, in keeping with a great American tradition which is embodied in this room of service and sacrifice on behalf of someone else's freedom. And I'm honored to be in your company. I'm honored to be not only in this great son of the state of Iowa, but a great American, Bud Day, who, as you know, has been deservedly honored with our nation's highest award. I am always humbled to be in his company, and I thank you, Bud, for your service in 3 wars. He also, by the way, had this strange combination of being in the Marine Corps and then the Air Force. Someone will have to explain that to me as well. I'd just like to again point out some of my friends and people who have served our country here today. Mike Cronin, who also was in prison with us and who's a great American and a dear friend who also lives here in Iowa now. And you know, there's one trait that Marines seem to have, and that is they're generally ugly. And Orson Swindle is the epitome of that. Colonel in the Marine Corps, F-8 pilot, shot down and captured, and was one of the real brave people that we had the honor of knowing. Colonel Orson Swindle is a great inspiration and a dear friend to all of us. I think you all know that President Reagan was responsible for winning the Cold War without firing a shot. That was Margaret Thatcher's description of him. And his strong right arm in that effort was Colonel Bud McFarland, who, as you know, was a national security advisor and very close to President Reagan and admirer, as all of us are. And Bud, thank you for being here as well. And I think it's very important that we all have a chance to know the next generations of young Americans who have served and are serving. So we have 3 Iraqi war veterans with us who are here, and I'm very honored to see Sonia Brecky, who is also a member of the Guard. Thank you, Sonia, for your service. And John Turner, also an Iraqi veteran, and Brandon Shepard. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your service. Could I just begin by telling you a brief story that happened to me not long before I retired from the United States Navy. I was over in San Diego at the Officers Club having a Coca-Cola at the bar, as most fighter pilots do, as you know. Standing next to me was this really old, senile looking guy. In fact, he looked a lot like Colonel Orson Swindle. And I was in uniform, and I saw he was wearing 1 stripe on his sleeve, which, as you know, is the lowest rank you can have and still be an officer. And I engaged him in conversation. I said, "How long were you in the Navy?" He said, 37 years. I said, 37 years, and you're never promoted? He said, "No." I said, "Why?" He said, "I was based at the 1st Squadron at Guadalcanal early in World War II, Henderson Field. Every night, 1 Japanese airplane used to fly over our field. And we called him Washing Machine Charlie. It was just a harassment raid. But the siren would go off. I'd have to come out of my tent, get into my airplane, start the engine, sit there, and pretty soon, because it was just old Washing Machine Charlie, the all-clear siren would go off, and I'd shut down the engine and get out of my airplane and go back to bed. It was killing me. I wasn't getting any sleep. The food was lousy. I solved the problem. I went out in the jungle, and I caught this monkey. And I trained this monkey that when the siren went off, he'd come out of the jungle, get into my airplane, start the engine, sit there. Then the all-clear siren would go off, and he would shut down the engine of my airplane and get out and go back into the jungle. Well, it was wonderful. I was sleeping like a baby every night. It was a great thing. Well, one night, it was not Washing Machine Charlie. It was a real Japanese air raid. I came out of my tent just in time to see that monkey taken off in my airplane. I said, "I can certainly see why you are not promoted." said, that's not what makes me mad. The monkey retired as an admiral last week. Well, I think I might have served with that monkey, but I would never say that. I'm so happy to be in your presence. What we're all about here really is not political campaigns, although obviously there's no way I depart from my campaign. But what this is really all about is to go across this country, in this great state of Iowa, the heartland of America. By the way, I was recently at the Iowa State Fair. I had the pork chop on a stick and the deep-fried Twinkie, which you are required to do. I also met the prize-winning pig, 1,203 pounds, a big red. It was pretty impressive. For a while, I thought I was back in Washington with all that pork there. And I also had the runner-up, even. The runner-up, only 1,197 pounds. Corn dog. He was my favorite. But anyway, this is the heartland of America. We all know that. This is where so many brave young Americans who have answered the call, as Bud Day did many, many years ago in the Great War of our greatest generation. And it's important, I think, for us to make our case that this conflict has been badly mismanaged. We've suffered enormous losses. Americans are frustrated and angry and saddened by the sacrifice that have been made. But we do have a new strategy and a new general, and it's succeeding, and we ought to give it a chance to succeed. Now, I don't believe that that we can go back and revisit all of the mistakes that were made. I'm not sure that it would be of any benefit to us this morning. But I do want to assure you that this new strategy is succeeding. Is it still tough and hard and long? Yes. Is it, we still got a Maliki government that is not functioning effectively? Yes. We have some, and a lot of their national police that they're not functioning and they're corrupt. But we have an Iraqi military that is better and better trained. They are more capable. They are taking over more and more of the responsibilities. In Anbar province, there's been a dramatic turnaround, as you well know. 6 months ago, if you went to Fallujah or Ramadi, you were in a shooting gallery. Today, there are shops open and stores, and people are leading relatively normal lives because there's an environment of security there, because they've come over our side because they don't like Al-Qaeda, who are killing their sons and daughters and are mistreating them, and now they are on our side. There are neighborhoods in Baghdad today where young people, our young soldiers and Iraqi soldiers, are in neighborhoods 24/7 out there on patrol, and by the way, under incredibly difficult conditions. I'm sure you know. You can ask our young people here. At least a month ago, it was 135-degree temperature. These kids are putting on 40 pounds of body armor, 30 or 40 pounds of equipment, and going out and they're patrolling 10, 12 hours a day. And doing... I revere every generation of military members in this room, but I want to assure you what these young people are doing are every bit as arduous, every bit as difficult, and every bit as challenging as any conflict that we've ever been in, and that's one of the many reasons why we are so proud of them. Now, unfortunately, the political dialogue in America has taken a very, very, very nasty turn. And we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be in this kind of political dialogue in America. It's disgraceful. We've gone from honest differences of opinion to disparaging the patriotism and honor of the brave people who are serving. Now, I don't know, Sonia, maybe you can hold us up. I don't know if you heard about the front page, the full page advertisement in the New York Times a couple of days ago. And for those of you that can't read it, it says, "General Petraeus or General Betray Us." Now, isn't that clever? Isn't that clever? That they would disparage the honor and integrity of a man who has served his country with honor all his entire life.